the next thing people want to know is about deleafing and denoding.
Yeah, let's get into that. I was going to talk to you about that.
So this is a very important part of maximizing your plants so that you get the right amount of full, mature flowers as opposed to all kinds of errant little undeveloped larvae, immature stuff. So what I like to do is the first time I clean up the plant, I clean up the plant. What I initially wanted to say was, so when you're manipulating the plant and manipulating the branches to maximize the light coming in, you're going to have all kinds of leafage everywhere popping up and big leaves from the interior. What I say is interior leaves, interior pointing leaves, you always remove, okay, because they're going to be covering something up. So that's an easy one. I think the trick is to leave both nodes and the lower leaves, because those are your solar collectors. So if you lollipop, as they like to call it, the first time you clean up your plants, and as you're denoding, you remove all those lower leaves, you're going to slow the growth of your plant down, I dare say 10, 15%, unless you're growing at a very high density. If you're growing plants that are allowing to be receiving each their own full, intense, direct light, meaning they're not smushed up against each other, don't remove those lower leaves until later on when flowers start developing and you're really worrying about airflow and stuff. Because what you want to do is you want to get down underneath the canopy of your plant and look up into the light. And everywhere where you can see from the ground and you can see the light, that's photons of light that is getting wasted. It's going from the light and hitting the ground. So if you have leaves, intermittent leaves, even though they may be 3 nodes down from the main leaves, okay? If you've got a leaf here, and a leaf here, and a leaf here, and a leaf here, it's collecting secondary light. And a little secondary times 4 or 5 on each plant adds up to substantial light. And that adds up to root growth and taking up water and nutrients. So don't remove that stuff the first time. Leave it through veg and leave it into early flowering. And so when you get ready to flower about a week in, about 2 weeks before, like when you do the first chiropractic, is when I'll start denoding. And what I do the first time is, it may sound crazy, but I denode either just leaving the tip and like 1 or 2 nodes, or virtually all the way to the tip. I will leave no nodes. I may have 8 nodes on this branch, and I'm going to denode all the way to the tip, and I'm going to leave all those little leaves in between that are there. And it's going to be bald all the way up to the tip. Now that's because I like to grow a lot of sativas. And now I'm a week before flowering. That means this plant is going to stretch for another 3 to 4 weeks, giving me another 6, 7, 8 nodes from where I left it. And that's going to take away all my larvae, and I don't have to go back in and do it again. Now, if I'm growing an indica or a hybrid, I'll leave the top and just 2 extra nodes. And then by the time bud set happens, you've got your 6 to 8 nodes. Anything below that is garbage. But if you lollipop it and remove all those leaves, the first time you do that, you're going to slow the plant down.
That's an interesting way to go about it. I haven't heard anybody doing it that way. It's something that I probably want to try out in the future because, yeah, I totally get what you mean by that. It can certainly slow things down if not done properly.
And the other thing, too, is when the plant, the plant wants to grow sets of leaves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what it's going to do, right? So if you have a nice, long, hardy branch, I'm growing, you're growing plants that are a foot tall, that are going to flower at 2.5 feet, I'm assuming. Okay, that's kind of an average size height, a 2.5, 3 foot tall flowered plant. You're going to have nice, long, hefty branches that are a foot long, and they're going to have lots of nodes on them. And there's going to be 4 to 5 leaves in between there from the top and the bottom. And I'm telling you, you leave a branch for a couple of weeks of vegging where you would have taken off those 4 or 5 leaves, it's not only going to grow slower, but it's going to stretch more in between the nodes because it needs to throw out more leaves because it's trying to replace what you took away.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrowIt15 to save on any of their products.